Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Let's go! And in his hands was Shimada's huge knife, the one that was last seen jutting from Shimada's stomach. It was still dripping with blood. This definitely made matters more complicated. How could I doubt Yuya's guilt when he was holding something like that? Why did he even have it? How could he possibly bring himself to pull a knife from his friend's lifeless corpse? But I wasn't going to run. I turned around and I braced myself. I opened my mouth, intent on discussing this rationally. On, not or. If I ran away now, I feel like it would be all over. There would be nothing left to save. No one left to trust. But what could I possibly say to him? I might want to save here, because I feel like saving here would be the best option. I'll choose this option first. If this happens, and I get a wrong end, then I'll pick the second option. The body was still visibly shuddering, and my voice was breaking. I had unconsciously taken an accusatory tone with him, which was not at all what I wanted. But it was too late to take it back now. I hoped he didn't notice, but he did, and as soon as the word "why" slipped from my lips, his eyes glazed over. It was as if all of the warmth and compassion I'd seen there before was tapped and drained, leaving behind nothing more but an empty container. Then he just started muttering to himself and slowly walked past me as if I weren't even there. Oh, that's exactly what Shimada said. No, I couldn't let this go on. I grabbed him by the arm and just clung to him, putting my full weight on his body to keep him from going any farther down the hallway. He was at a crossroads, about to walk down a path of no return, and I wasn't going to lose the kind, considerate Yuya I fought for. Unfortunately, the only tools I had at my disposal for stopping him were my feelings, and those just weren't going to be enough. I was so startled that it took me a moment before I'd even figured out what happened. Oh, great. That was the first time in my entire life that I've ever been punched in the head. And he put everything he had into it. I couldn't focus, my brain was still rattling inside my skull from the impact. The world was spinning. I looked up at him with his spasmodic, twitchy, tear-filled eyes. There was no sign of remorse or compassion whatsoever. He looked like a feudal warrior clutching his sword and staring down at his enemy. The area all around my eye was throbbing. It hurt so badly and felt so swollen and sore. Couldn't even imagine what it must have looked like. Jeez, that's horrible. And he wasn't done with me. He got in closer and closer, grinning unnaturally as he raised his fist for a second. Oh God. Oh! was running on pure instinct and adrenaline at this point. Shot to my feet and just forced them to carry me to safety. Somewhere, anywhere. He was going to kill me. He really was going to kill me. God. Felt something rattling around uncomfortably inside my mouth, so I spit it out into my hand. It was white. A single white tooth with blood-red highlights at its root. That maniac had actually knocked out one of my teeth! He was there, just behind me, and I panicked, tripping over my own feet and stumbling to the ground, on the landing between the first and second floor. I'd fallen on my backside, dropping my tube on the ground next to me. I began slinking away from the encroaching figure of Yuya Kazami. Save me, somebody, anybody, God, please! Jeez, man! I was scooting backwards across the floor, too stiff, sore and scared to stand. But then my hand brushed across something small and metallic. A key! Even with my hand right over it, I was shaking so badly that I could barely work my fingers to get a grip. It was the most frustrating feeling in the world. And for a few seconds, that felt like hours. I just kept trying in vain to pick up that damned key. Finally, I slipped my finger through the ring. I had it! This was my one and only chance. Scrambling to my feet, I somehow slipped past Yuya and ran back up to the second floor as fast as I could force my shaky legs to carry me. I had the key. I could lock myself in. I could hide in the infirmary. That's where Mayu died. I couldn't stop crying. Kizumi didn't pursue. Not right away. He just stood there staring at the tooth that I dropped on the ground. Staring intently as if to make out what it was just seeing. Oh my god! What the jeez, man, what the hell's wrong with you? Come on, stop! Stop turning off! Stop crunching! I have to deal with two idiots at once. My freaking headphones and you freaking psycho. Ah. Freaking hell, man. Sick. Ugh. I just received a unnerving jolt down my spine. Jeez. Freaking. There didn't seem to be any way to lock the door from the inside. I needed to find a hiding place before Yuya showed up. The corner of the room? Under the bed, maybe? I was scanning every inch. I was scanning every inch of the room as quickly as possible. Sizing up my surroundings, my eyes stopped on one of the medicine shelves. It felt like such a revelation, like the answer I was looking for. But what was I going to do with scissors? Was I going to fight? Fight who? Yuya? Oh, I wouldn't stand a chance. I decided to leave them there, stepped back and crouched down behind the partitioning screen that was set up in the middle of the room. Ugh. I don't know where that's coming from, but you better cut that out. The rabbit had run back to the bathrooms on the third floor to warn Okawa about the imminent threat that was approaching. Surprisingly, he was still crouched on the ground, cradling Katayama's lifeless head in his arms. And he was still stubbornly insisted that if he were to leave that spot, he'd have to carry Katayama with him. So this is what's happening from their point of view? I guess, because this exactly happened. What a stubborn, foolish man. I had enough. I decided I'd rip Katayama's body from Okawa's arms and kick it down the stairs. It made one hell of a thud when it hit the landing, but he was already dead, so what did it matter? As long as it helped to get Okawa moving, I didn't care. So we're from Yuya's point of view. See? Look, he's dead. So get your ass off that floor and run.
目を覚ませ。片山はもう死んでいる。早くここから逃げるんだ。
Everybody was looking at me, then at Katayama's body, then back at me, and she couldn't make up her mind on which was more interesting. But why was she looking at me? Did I have something on my face? Okawa, on the other hand, was focused squarely on Katayama. He was trembling all over, but I thought he'd finally understood. Then he turned toward me. He's already dead! Yelled like a madman and ran down the stairs towards his friend's body. He wasn't exactly in his right mind. However, those last few steps didn't quite go as planned. He tripped and fell, quite hard, next to Katayama. Idiot. Yeah, exactly. He's not a freaking murderer. He's already dead, you idiot! Wasn't the one who killed Katayama. I see.
ここでは学校に殺されるのも俺に殺されるのも同じってことか。どうせみんな死ぬのだからな。
Oh, I got the real ending. Got the true ending? Level 7 clear. Now everything else is in the bonus menus. Save system data. And seems like I picked the right option. Now, I actually have to mention something. The only way to get the other... I have to, like, get all the bad ends to get Chapter 8. And the reason why there's a Chapter 8 is for its own game, and it's called Blood Drive. And I'm currently finding the ISO on the internet. So, I'll be back with you to see if I'll be able to, unlock, Blood Drive. I'll see you in a minute. I'm pretty sure this was one of the bad ends. Now, this is one of the bad ends I probably didn't even mention or show in that case. But it has to do with being in the bomb shelter. I never even got the chance to look through it because I was speeding through trying to get all the bad ends myself without looking at them. So... But you get this from hitting yourself in the door a couple of times. Aw, it's the one that voiced Pikachu. The young girl thrust her face so close to mine that our noses practically touched. She was smiling from ear to ear. She looked to be in about first or second grade, with long black hair and a clean, cute, almost dainty countenance. After my brief expression, however, I quickly turned my head away. She was uncomfortably close, literally breathing down my neck. Her breath smelled of blood, and death, and decay, and fatty oils, and smoke. It smelled of chemicals and antiseptic. It was very, very unpleasant potpourri. The little girl began backing away from me, her shoulders still shaking in a soundless chuckle. I knew exactly what she meant. It would be entirely reasonable to ask what was going on here. Even at a glance, I could tell this room was not good. The floors and walls were caked in blood, as thick as mud. Buckets of body parts were strewn all about, and eviscerated corpses were stacked everywhere. And that was just what I could see at a glance. As for me, I was bound to a chair against one of the walls, not with ropes, but with chains. I think I mentioned this before, but I think I mentioned this. Sachiko and Ayumi are both related. Just as she said the word else, she brought her hand down onto the nearby table in a sloppy motion. It made contact with someone. It was a girl bound by her hands and feet, and Sachiko slapped with aim squarely at her thigh. Her uniform suggested that she was in high school, and she was wearing glasses, giving her a rather stern, serious appearance. I could hear the sound of chattering teeth and see her chest rising and falling rapidly, and erratically, suggesting she was paralyzed with fear.
名前はね、浦部恵美さん。
Oh my god! Oh my god! That's the girl that ran down the stairs in this part. At the sound of her own name being read out loud from her student ID name tag, the girl let out a single whimper. I'm going to look at that other choice.
ダメ。お姉ちゃんは今からとびきり痛いことをされます。惨めったらしい顔や命乞いをして見せてくださいね。やだ。冗談だよね。だって私何も。うるさい。気が散る。
Ooh. Setsuko swung her hand downward Ami's face. I realized after one impact there was a scalpel in it. Oh god, a sloppy, uncontrollable incision was made from the corner. Uncontrolled incision was made from the corner of her mouth and all the way to her. Oh god, man!
なんてね。ごめんね、痛かった？本気じゃないからまだあまり痛がらないで。これからもっと痛くなるのよ。
Oh my god. If I was this sadistic, I would be like Sachiko. Not that I ever was. But it could happen sometime. I'm kidding. Anyway, Sachiko produced a pair of durable sewing scissors from a rollaway shelf nearby and began expertly cutting all the way up Emmy's school uniform. Then she set down the scissors and produced a full-size farming sickle in their place. It looked well worn with soil and rust sticking liberally to the blade. After brandishing it for a moment, Sachiko positioned it over Emmy's abdomen. God. Sachiko slowly shifted her focus from Emmy's abdomen to the area just below her rib. Oh, God. I'm tired of this freaking headset! Emmy's body began spasming, her spinal muscles contracting in a decidedly unnatural manner. Gasping screams mixed with sounds of vomit and incontinence. Or something.
いい顔になってきたね。できるじゃないか。それだよ、それ。
Man, Pikachu must be screwed up by now. Without even wiping the drool from her mouth, Sachiko tossed the sickle. I like that word. Sickle. Aside and simply began digging into Emmy's wounds with her. Oh, jeez, man. The sound of tiny hands manipulating internal organs was disgustingly similar to that of sopping wet rags, squelching spilled oatmeal off of a hardwood floor. How can that be a relatable comparison? The noises escaping Emmy's mouth didn't even sound like they were coming from a human being anymore. Ugh! I can see her face and profile now, and despite the gastric juices and vomit and blood and contortions of unbearable agony, it wasn't a disagreeable sight. This was a girl not far from death, but she was trying her hardest to fight it. But the facts were the facts. She was going to die, and she knew it. Against this fate, she was completely and utterly helpless. She was doomed already, in both body and soul. This hapless struggle had a certain sensual quality to it. No, it was even purer than that. This was truly a beautiful... Oh, God. Well, that's what would be expected of Morishige.
本来に
Sachiko, who had at this point buried her head in Emi's exposed orangs, withdrew it and directed this question at me. Her mouth was full of flesh. Everything from her nose down to her dyed red and dripping with blood.
本当にいい顔になってきたじゃないか
She swallowed whatever she'd bitten out of Emi's insides and turned to face. Ah! Not just face me, actually, but stare at me. Stare into me! With unwavering blinking eyes. Unblinking eyes. I suddenly became aware of my own erratic breathing. It wasn't fear, though. It was an almost animalistic reaction. It was coarse and primal, and I was unconsciously thrust my chest forward toward Emmy. I think I might have been smiling.
どうだお前もやってみるかい
Don't be ridiculous. It's like she's making fun of me. She shouldn't even have to ask. Well, that's truly a screwed up ending. What the f...